Welcome back, everyone. And, well, I have a question for all of you lovely people at home. Do you like some mud with your Valorant?
I love mud.
Because that's what we got in that last one. Holy smokes. Absolute shenanigans across the board. I mean, still, we're seeing just... I mean, honestly, I don't even know. Like, there were moments where, like, you know, you think, okay, there's a setup here. Oh, wait, never mind. There is no setup. Oh, well, there's going to be never mind. They're just circling around one another, flanking, reflanking. What a wild game that was.
It was a head-scratcher. I was looking at it, the first 2 rounds especially, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, you know what, PRX is probably going to close this out. And then EDG starts getting round after round, and then it's like going into these types of situations, this is getting onto round 9, I believe, where... Nope, this is not that one yet, but there's just like all sorts of things. Oh, this is it, actually.
Yeah,
this is round 9. So basically, like, PRX is coming in for the retake, and, you know, they're putting pressure onto that main. They have 2 people covering and tapping the spike. But on the side of EDG, it's not really what we came to expect from them. We're having a Silva backing off to do the Hunter's Fury, and then like the Omen's in the corner by himself, and the KO's not right. You know, it's what's going on here. They're all playing so individualistic, like they didn't have their comms on, like the headset on, and I pointed this out before, but it really felt like that. There were other instances I think we'll get to as well, where it's just like, someone sees an enemy and we're just still like la la land, what is going on? And it was a very big head scratcher moment, because I thought for sure PRX was just going to steamroll through.
Yeah.
And then suddenly EDG's pulling it back. You're like, what's going on?
It looked that way. EDG, when they were getting in their post plants, the fundamentals were off. Cheecher's lurks were so often coming once the team was already dead. It was so messy to start. But then the second half, it continued being muddy, muddy Valorant. But it was instead EDG coming out on top of so many of these moments, stepping up in the chaos, players like Kong Kong having big impact, and PRX, the team, making a lot of those same mistakes, not clearing their corners. Look at the way they're fighting into backside in this round. One player goes it first, then they're getting slowed off by their own slow. One more player fights, and it's all individual.
Like, everyone just turning around, like one person's running backwards, one person's runing forwards. They can't figure out who they want to push, and then EDG somehow narrowly comes out on top of that situation. But yeah, just piggybacking about that Chichu thing, there was a round 7 where EDG is going out aim with 3 people. You know, they're going out elbow onto this site, and it's just like Chichu just starts his B main walk, like starting to walk from T-spawn into main, right? Not even like walking onto the site, he's walking into the main choke point. Like, what is going on with those types of situations? He's got to be with the pack more. But speaking of second half, all the hits are going towards B, and that's where Chichu is, so he's involved in the game that way.
It's 5v5 again.
It's 5v5
and then that's
again,
all good for EDG. I mean, yeah, credit to nobody. Kong Kong having some moments in that second half to keep this team in the game. And I mean, we talked about the possibility of a mental block, of them looking out of it after getting stomped on map number 1. But this is the game. No matter how muddy it is, no matter how many mistakes are made by both teams, in an elimination match like this, all that matters is getting that map win and keeping your mental in it for the final map. And it wasn't the cleanest, but that's what EDG did.
You know
they stay alive.
To quote Vin Diesel, whether you win by an inch or a mile, winning's winning. And that's literally what happened here. Now we're going, though, to Lotus. This is where you got to put up or shut up. This is it, right? And we're going to Lotus here still. Give the folks a preview, maybe, of what we should be seeing potentially here.
Okay, if anything goes by what happened last map, although last map didn't follow the same, you know, logic from the round the map before.
Logic's out the window.
You have Omen, you have Clove, and you have Neon, probably, if the picks go the same way for the side of EDG. And the way that everyone's kind of individually just running around taking these duels, I think that could actually work in their favor again here. And PRX need to be able to reset after that last map. You would think that they had the momentum going forwards, and it's been stopped. How are they going to rebound? That was a question for EDG.
Yeah.
Now it's for PRX.
Yeah, this smoke swamp is really good on your attack side. It's segmenting your fights into very discrete areas. Instead of having to take all of like a Rebel at the same time, you can smoke off one section, isolate these fights really easily. It's a really like heavy like team fight, brawl comp, and that's exactly how EDG is playing. We've seen FPX find success with this comp internationally before. It'll be the first time that EDG is playing it on a global stage, though.
Oh boy. Well, we'll see the agent select here in a moment as players are all seated and ready to go. Obviously, in these moments here, the pressure is on, without a doubt. But if you're EDG, you know, you feel a little bit better about this considering how things went on Sunset.
If you think back to the previous times we've seen this match, it has been like this before. It gets messy, the gloves come off, it comes down to the fight, and PRX are making a change. Solo Omen, solo Sky composition with a double duelist jet raise. That is a weird one in 2024.
Wow.
I didn't really know what to make of this.
You know
they
what?
have the double duelist on defense and
go out your own way. Do it your own way, I guess.
You get shot,
it's gonna be
you die.
It's gonna be a death match. Basically, this map is gonna be a death match. It's just like everyone just taking these fights. I just want to see Chichu getting involved a little bit more. I believe he's starting on that defense side though, so it's, yeah. So, yeah, deathmatch.
Or on the attack to start for EDG. It's chaos here, but one of these teams here is coming to an end. And with the way they play, I feel like it couldn't go any other way.
All right, well, let's see how this all shakes out. My goodness, what a roller coaster this has been. Brendan Sideshow, have fun.
Oh, you know me. I mean, listen, man, listen. It's incredible that these two teams agreed to the gentleman's agreement to have the final map be played as a deathmatch. But yeah, I am buzzing and looking forward to this one here because this is two teams. They rive in the mud. That word was getting tossed around quite a bit on the desk. And they love to clash and fight here.
Well, here's a big clash happening towards A Rubble to begin. And with both of these compositions, I'm looking at them. It looks like EDG should have a big advantage in any Rubble fights.
Yeah. Already seeing it. It's a flash to try and set them up nice and early here, but the nade cuts out the rest of Kangkang's team. EDG.
And PRX decide not to commit. They're looking to not even really trap, because otherwise you'd be expecting Mindfreak to be playing at that door. They're looking to just go for a 5-person re-clear.
And it's being held. There's almost an expectation of it from EDG with a Paranoia crossing its way up. And the noise cut. EDG, advantages to be found and had here, especially when the shots don't land and find that mark with Kangkang. He's doing entirely all that here. Aftershock into the corner, it's beautiful! And set the stage. And our map 3 into motion for EDG. They were so damn aware.
Yeah, that's such a sick read from EDG. The call there to completely hide, wait for PRX to re-clear, and notice that even when PRX are re-clearing, they don't trigger the fight. They only trigger the fight when the dog is used, when they realize that they're not just going to leave. EDG wanted the A site without any fuss. They didn't want to cause any trouble, but PRX had to decide to take the fight, so they made them pay.
Now with the guns in their hands as well, once more, same beginning. Doors opened up though.
I think the reason that PRX have changed their composition, by the way, to one that they used to run in the past, is because they're facing the Neon, Double Initiator, Clove. EDG's comp should want to go fast. It pushes a lot on the defense side as well. And so having those trips up, I guess PRX are just thinking is more valuable than running the double duelist, double initiator comp that they were previously testing out.
Yeah, it can be incredibly good.
It's an old comp though.
Heavy committal. This is Kangkang. He's trying to lock it down, but only 20 bullets into the clip. Luckily, he's got teammates and backup in spades. Nobody shuts down the eco round.
And gets fairly close to Nightfall. Probably won't have it online for round 3. So, looking like a bit of a dry bonus, but will have that for one of these potential swing rounds. At the end of the day, though, with all of our conversation around the compositions, I got to think back. The smartest man I know once said, "You get shot, you die," and he was quoting you.
Oh,
so,
well, how about that?
Yeah. Even some smart people will repeat what you say.
Exactly. Some signs of intelligent life coming from me. Nade up and over. This is PRX opting into the fight. The skirmish once more, but with Jing toppling, falling, something not able to evacuate. That was an updraft dash to survive, and Mindfreak is hard committed. Can't reset the aim. Only the one player found from that one. Devigon re-exploring. Util out into the few hands of these players, but already he's got to be aware of it. And yet sees the barrel. So now he knows his timing taken against him, but the Prowler waiting it. No way, Peak not together. Still, it's there. The Forsaken liner right behind him for EDG to barrel them over.
Brutal beginning to PRX's Lotus. A map that they enjoy playing, but after how Sunset went, this is looking like a massive turnaround, a flip compared to map 1. EDG pick up pistol, pick up the bonus round. This is what catapulted them to success in the second half of Sunset.
And already,
couldn't be more different reactions from the coaching staff.
absolutely, the death slam. You know what that signifies? The timeout button being hit.
After 3 rounds,
Yep.
the tag timeout.
And again, I mean, when it comes to strategy, it could be something as simple as like, guys, stop trying to opt into this A-Rubble fight when you're getting outvalued of util. It could also just be mentality. It could just be him trying to calm the nerves. But the reason this is absurd is because Alex has literally just had the opportunity to do that 3 rounds ago before they were in the map.
Yeah, but he's obviously not focused on a specific element that PaperX are then messing up, or just wants to reiterate something, get them back onto the right track. It is crazy early for a tag timeout like this, though. And I think that indicates the stakes in this kind of situation. Everything that we were talking about on Icebox, about it being bitter disappointment for EDG, them fighting to break through in China, getting overtaken, they can't go out in groups and have a year of bombing out. Everything there also applies, perhaps even more, to PaperX.
It's mirrored, I think.
They used to fight for trophies. Been overtaken in Pacific, and now they might end up going out in groups here at Champs. A fate that they've met before. Though that did precipitate a roster change.
It certainly did. Once more EDG. Listen, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Face your fear.
These A hits have been given access to the sites over and over again.
They realize it's a retake setup. They don't have very much retake utility on PaperX, so you've only got to worry about a Sky Flash and a Paranoia, really.
Trailblazer and the Boombot's already being used to try and...
Are they leaving?
Lay the path for PaperX, yeah. I mean, the util's already being used.
PaperX have read it. This is strange from EDG. They had the read, and now they're going into the stack.
Kang! Goodness me, close quarter combating. He's hoping and opting in for that upgrade, but it just opens his backup prime. Put a bullet to the back here, Smoggy. Also supplements off to the side, off angle from Divide, but not enough to stay alive, Simon! Goodness gracious me.
He has been so consistent for them in those tight situations, in the tough spots. Simon has been there already, paying dividends. The value that he's brought to this team. He's not always at the top of the scoreboard. He doesn't have the prettiest stats in the world, but he's good for big moments. That's an important asset for a new player to have. Bailed them out of a tough spot there. All smiles and laughter for Haodong, but that one got a little dangerous. And something has the op.
I mean, how do you even play this? The posture of the util, though, EDG faking like they've taken this A. Rubble control once more, this time walking into a different direction.
PaperX are leaving gaps all over the map.
B is open entirely, and it's being read by EDG. They're already into the fight. Sometimes, yeah, I mean, Divide, spam down. What is that? Just into the corner, tucked. Maybe seeking to play spoiler. Nobody pushed back. Off and away from the plan. Once more, another tap. He's seeing if there's any more util. Well, that came from PaperX. Shut out entirely from this B site. The composition itself is just not situated for these retakes. The amount of util that they have is essentially gone. As soon as Divide falls and gets taken out of the fight here, the Haunt dealt with something with the dash as well, but there's no value to be had. Nobody's giving him that fight. And what a call to make. It looks like they're just going for the save.
That's brutal.
Dude.
If you don't want to play these retakes, though, why are you putting all of your Cypher utility and your operator on the same site?
That's the question.
And leaving B completely open. They 3-stack C, they put their op and the Cypher A. So both of those sites, very difficult to crack into. And you could give credit here to EDG that they've been conditioning A fights over and over at the beginning of this game. So maybe PaperX felt comfortable in some degree that it wasn't just going to be a fast B hit. But if you do leave it open like that, there is no Viper Wall you can put up to flash yourself in and try to isolate the entry. There's no
way.
No Snakebite, no Nanoswarm, nothing like that that you can use to try to isolate Kangkong from the rest of the team.
Yeah, and listen, I'm not saying no way at your analysis. It's all fine and dandy. I'm saying no way at this. It's a second timeout called for PaperX. We're in round 6 of map 3. It's an elimination game. It's the final game of groups. Your final path to playoffs for the final event of the year. And this signifies to me just a complete collapse.
Yeah, it's brutal that Alex feels like he has to hit the panic button after 3 rounds and then after 2 more. He just spoke to them. If you want to think about how PaperX's year has gone, a bit of a miracle run by their own words for them in Madrid to be able to make 3rd place. They got a podium finish, something they're very used to, had many of those last year. But they went from that 3rd, slipping down in Shanghai to a 5th, 6th, now looking like they might end up getting grouped here at Champs. Are they getting worse? Is there more competition? Is this a signifier that something doesn't work about their playstyle, that they're going to have a reboot? All of these questions are going to be asked if indeed it plays out like this.
Yeah, swirling and circling around this team. Because it has to be pulled back here and now for PaperX. There's no more time for the coaching staff. Alex to step back in.
This looks like a much more sensible defensive setup, though. I think Alex is already calling to spread out this stuff. Get the Cypher over C, get the op posted B.
What's going on here? Mindfreak has just opened up the door wide here. The sightline called. Holding over the shoulder with the operator through to Mountain is called for this pause. EDG making sure to let these PaperX players simmer. Time has been bought, though. Following the sound cues, PaperX are in position to potentially take this fight forwards with the Boombot. Tagging it up into the corner. They're going to be aware that there's a player holding onto the corner into this angle with the Seekers and another flash to play themselves. Seeing this time the gunplay, it does come up for the goods, and they are winning the day, paving the way to a successful round. But Kangang's got something to say about it. Up and over the box, cannot stop Jing. Feeling empowered with the rest of his team behind him. They get that round on the board, eliminating the goose egg.
There's only 2 pieces of plant denial in PaperX's comp. The nade and the showstopper when Jing has it online. So they've got to be more creative in ways of slowing EDG down. Instead of throwing utility to get ready to set up for a flood retake like that, they open the door, which slows EDG down and stops them from getting the plant until PaperX are in position. Beautiful end. There was still some anti-synergy even then, though, because they opened the door and popped the cage at the same time. So they cut off their own op sight line. Another rubble fight. You gotta be kidding me. EDG are gonna be loving this.
Yeah, mass pings all about here. Showstopper, no worries or concerns because of the rolling thunder still. Adjustment, Showstopper, the kills, and the bullets at least lay claim to the life of Chichu, and now the rolling thunder to get EDG back in there. A bullet to the back of the head of Devi, could not evacuate in time.
Something trying to get aggressive on the flank.
And he's going to be finding it, Smoky. Standing his ground. Looking to plug in the gaps potentially there, in case the flanks were online. Brought to that 3 versus 3. EDG now with that tempo increase. They want to speed this one up into the ace. Jing, there's no way you're taking this, man. You have no teammates to back you up. You want to take the fight straight up. You could have waited. Still, Forsaken has been played in and does get that trade in play. Anticipation is there, but a shoulder peeking out is all something needs to claim and collect the kill, with the dash now active once more. Putting a squeeze down, nobody surviving for a rainy day, but a wrap around, up and away. Heaven player expected, missing the timing is Forsaken, who grasps it.
A close one to get PaperX's second onto the board. Forsaken saves the operator, and that push out from something made all the difference. He had to get that timing and punish EDG for not running a Sentinel in their composition. Otherwise, they had so many options to maneuver around the map. He forced EDG to speed up as soon as Smoggy went down. And then, you're right, Jing, it looked a little adventurous the first time, but eventually got that synergy working with Forsaken. Can EDG still be playing aggressive whilst covering the flanks? I was critical the last time they stacked their operator on the same side of the Cypher, but this time, at least they have that trip B, and they've made the right read.
Yeah. Flash and Haunted over as well, so something can't take that early. Line of sight angle, but now does the dash. The Prowler spotted! His head just poking clean out. It's taken off of his shoulders. Kangkang straight up in there, Jing. Wants to try and even this one out with the bullets flying forwards again. He has not been cleaned up, but he's trying to play his team back in, and Forsaken, he's dropped as a result of it. It's crumbled again here for PaperX. Just trying to play fast and loose into the site. Flood anchoring the defense. Broken and crumbled. Divide with a Trailblazer, spotting these players out with the paranoia. It's good to play themselves in, but Jing is caught, blinded up by it, and as the smokes fade away, there's no chance, no hope. It's Chicho with 3. Wraps up the round nice and pretty, and puts that 6-1 down on the board here for EDG.
Kang is not going to get caught by an op play like that. He read it so well, got aggressive into the site, making space for the rest of the team, and PaperX just didn't have that setup they needed to go for the retake. Nice! I am loving the Haodong. Wow! We've heard it a couple times now, and it's getting better and better. PaperX have 4 players over towards A. They want to control Rubble. They need that comfort that A is locked off. Their comp doesn't thrive with it though, and EDG have taken B instantly.
Full recognition of the gaps that the composition leaves open. A B plan, a slight tap from nobody, but now to commit. Oh! Something! He's so ahead of his team, they just can't quite play off of this one. There's a flash into the places again to push them back and away with the door open. Forsaken, not anticipating it. Fully blinded though, Dubai. Not willing to give up the sights, but smoked off, cut out of the picture. It's him against 3. No more money to buy for the next tier. A bitter pill to swallow, that you just have to save it away. Keep the rifle into the next, give up another round for EDG, because at this point, EDG, they are running away with it.
It might look like unorthodox compositions on both sides, but there could not be a bigger gap in terms of value from the picks at the moment. PaperX's defense, honestly, it's not been their stronger side on Lotus historically, so maybe you could throw some cope out there and say, oh, well, you know, if they get up to 4 or something and grab the pistol. But the trade came through so late, like even the small details. I love the movement from something. It's fantastic. That next player needs to be through the door immediately. You can't be waiting for the paranoia to come through or sync it up at the same time. It feels rusty from PaperX, like they've pulled an old comp out of the wardrobe and it's full of moth holes.
With those gaps as well. Holes, as you put it. It's EDG. Here, ready to try and capitalize. Simon, shredded with bullets. Calling for the reclear and backup.
There.
Kang spots one. Expecting some kind of bait and switch.
PaperX going for the old tried and tested here, just trying to follow these sound cues. Chichu denied that chance of any sort of information, but Kang's going to be dropped here. The stun was good! And already racking up the kills. His team happy to play off the back of it. An open sight once more. Rifle in the hands of Mind Freak. Forsaken is very much isolated though, in through the sight as well. Shoulder spotted, nobody gets that information. Calls for the rest of his team here. Weapons are going to be picked up, but again in inevitability, EDG. Fault line. Just roots Forsaken out of spot. There's no safety to be held at the back of that site there. 8-2 EDG.
And they can feel it. What a recovery. What a turnaround. Losing map 1 13-3, and then kind of pasting PaperX on their own map pick, halting a 12-map win streak on Sunset, and now demolishing them on Lotus. The momentum could not be more one-sided. The scales have tipped thoroughly in EDG's favor. They go fake a rubble fight, hoping that they bait out a push over towards Mound. Jing doesn't bite. Not this time. Making the rotate himself over through Waterfall. Leaving C weak, leaving B weak, going to reinforce a site that EDG have no interest in.
And they're stacking over towards A. I mean, PaperX are doing this play when they already have a deep cam that's committed.
That's what I'm talking about. It's in no way refined, what we're watching from PaperX's defense. I think they've pulled this comp out because they thought it would be a good counter to EDG, and they're just not practiced enough with it. Not anymore. Maybe tides will turn on the attack side. Something, possibly, could have made me believe with that peak.
Just daring him to fight. Follow-up past it, the camera's finally broken. A Delta Divide, that's a peek off of his own flash. And he's just never going to be favored there. Too many positions to play the ante from. EDG once more, roll out the red carpet at this point. It's easy access to these sites, and the retakes just have not been there. But PRX will make a good go of things once more. This time out through the back, Satchel's in play, attack from Simon. There's that uncertainty, up and through. Not dead yet, Smoggy back into the fight and the fray, but the kills, collected bodies, toppled, falling, Smoggy. Needs to be given something here to play his teammate in, but nobody's now going to be that last one left. Into a 1v2 with 12 seconds, whistled down to almost 0. And 2 bullets left in the chamber. There's no more options. Has to stick it for any chance, and Forsaken knows it. Wrapping around, a third on the board here for PRX. The question is it too little, too late?
These pre-takes are the only things working for PRX. They had many players heaven as the plant was going down, finally got the read that they were on the right side, and hit it with huge amounts of aggression. EDG didn't have anybody that deep that could really stop them. But like I said, that's the only thing that's been working for them. Can they find another option to do that? Can they make the showstopper turn into a round victory? An 8-4 half with a pistol. Suddenly, there may be a glimmer, a flicker of hope.
Salvageable. Forsaken's just opened up the door wide.
His cam's got a little bit of info.
Yeah, spotted that out and not actually broken as well as a result.
I'm not sure how much he saw, though. He was barely on it for a second. He's just looking for question marks on the minimap. Don't know whether he saw any.
Yeah. The round has been slowed down to a crawl, though.
But again, PRX have got their defensive players in the right site, unless this is a pivot.
Ball's broken. Fault line as well to try and play Kang into this spot with a trip broken down. Something might want to make a go of things here. To hear the ult popped off as well. Kang! That's a return of the fire. Something dropped. Now a B side could be that potential option, and a paranoia already wasted out. PRX no longer having that tool to play with smokes up in their face. Aftershock as well. Ryan Freak does peek up the flash and plays himself in, but EDG still holding strong. Not willing to be displaced from this position. PRX might have that surrounded, but again, they are fully aware, EDG, knowing all the tricks at the sleeves of the PRX players, the C's of the connection, all the acknowledgement you need. An open sight for the taking on to C. And an impossible situation for Jing to play.
EDG baiting out so many of the tools that PRX wanted to play off. Absolutely broken something in that moment. He may never be the same player again after what Kang just did to him. But they baited out the showstopper. Jing found no value. Baited out all the flashes from Divide. Punish him with a shot to the head. 9-3. If there is a glimmer of hope, it is a dark, small light in a vast cavern.
EDG just pulling off an absolutely unreal comeback overall in the series when they just got flattened map 1. The resilience is on display, and at the back of their minds, an unwillingness to go home. They need to prove that they can reach greater heights than they have done before in the past, and it starts with getting past an old rival. It starts with getting out of the groups.
Playoffs on the horizon. both of these teams, they're only a map win away from getting through to playoffs, and as Alex said earlier in the coach interview, having that extra lifeline, having the ability to troll a little and be experimental with what you're doing. But one of these teams is so much closer to that map victory than the other. Double Sheriff in the hands of EDG. Smoggy's been lights out anytime he's played on Lotus, anytime he's playing Clove.
And this is a squeeze being applied, at least to feign like they could be trying to fight over towards Mound and from section of B from EDG. I think the goal of it potentially is to cause a pivot from PACIFIC into the high-low setup that they've got going on. At least with the Sheriffs, it's a cool strategy that EDG have brought out into the pistol, but
high lows.
Yeah.
All over the place, on C, on A.
And this could tear PACIFIC apart already to peaks if they're not timed correctly, which they're not. EDG ready for it, nobody's still alive towards the back of the site, and no anticipation that it could have peeked itself over it. 3 in a round, denied the 4, but Chichu is fully there, entirely for the cleanup.
Absolutely in control, EDG. If it went over towards A, high-low, set up towards stairs. Horn didn't get broken, full information, dropped back into a high-low setup, and Simon and nobody, the IGL and the newcomer, doing so much work.
One enemy remaining.
And that is elation because EDG can feel it. Primed and ready to pounce. That last spot of the playoffs. It's almost theirs for the taking. No force in sight from PACIFIC. Not opting into this one. They need the guns, but it is just shambolic. Smoggy. Pure mechanics on display. And he will just rip them all away.
11-3. EDG with no concept of mercy. No thought in the back of their mind of taking their foot off the neck of PACIFIC. Friends outside the server, bitter rivals inside.
Enemy remaining.
Smoggy is wiping them away.
And it is just pure elation, isn't it? A matchup that they've just failed in so many times against this team. For PACIFIC, guns in their hands. Now is the time to make the most of it. That a bit over aggressive. EDG making the go of things here. They're still hard committing into the fight. They make the call as well to try and at least collect themselves together, but the weaponry not favored on these long sight lines at least. PACIFIC essentially just swat away these EDG players.
This was a strat that Foot very much struggled with. They found the right reaction by pushing into C, but then couldn't play the post plans properly. This time, PACIFIC hold on. And like you say, use that advantage of having the better long-range weaponry. EDG are not going to fight like that in every round, though. It's something they'll throw in occasionally, and maybe less so now that PACIFIC have showcased they're willing to stand their ground and fight. Forsaken, it is good to see him pop in heads. He was notably absent on Sunset. A bit more passive, a bit more supportive on the breach, and he couldn't find the rifling.
Round by round.
Dude, I mean, that is like water off a duck's back with the pressure for PACIFIC. They are just having fun with it.
I mean, they've been in these positions before. They know the secret. It's just to have a short-term memory.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I mean, that's just so funny.
Devi is right on the money, though. It has to happen round by round, one at a time. Orbs farmed up. Mass migration, however, towards the A side here. Chichu is alone taking this angle, but there's less to really threaten him off this spot when there's no Viper in the play as well. He can just jiggle this one for a bit of util, and he's even got Simon to help him out. With the Trailblazer cleared its way through. I believe both rifles fired off something, but a dash to disengage and pull that one back. And around, Forsaken. Cam up forwards. He spotted Kang, but doesn't want to try and take that fight towards it. Nobody with the door opened up wide will have to at least concede that space, give it up and hold the C's. Now into his hands, lets it loose. What a connection! Just absolutely running over these players. PACIFIC steamrolled in the process. Jing, he'll have to do it all. But Aftershock in his back satchel away, and the aim reset just not there in time. EDG up to 12.
Match point.
Nobody's utility was phenomenal last time we got to watch them on Lotus. He had seizes all over the place, connecting, and he's doing it again.
Enemy remaining.
The seize is amazing, Smoggy's follow-up is great, and then he just jumps in knowing that the rest of his team's got his back. And I think a bit of that
This is it.
stoic nature
Listen.
needs to be given to Alex here.
And let's get back into the fight, because it could just be ending in a blink of an eye. The series, the tournament lifeline for PRX. Warded and postured. As I've said prior, they can't hold a candle to the amount of util that EDG can just pull out. So the A-Rubble control is theirs for now. One way's rejuvenated. PRX holding, biding their time, waiting to strike. The counter spam is there, updraft up and around as well. Swinging through, Paranoia is there, Showstopper needs that value. Jing, he's on a life that's unexpected. Up on the high ground, Chi-Chu, he's trying to shut them down. Nobody's by his side, but the rifles, maybe. There's a lifeline. Into the hands of PRX and still with a minute to play with.
Nobody's pushing out through B. Smoggy still with his ultimate. An eerie calm drops towards Rubble. An area that's known so much bloodshed and almost all of it going into the way of EDG in this map. PRX have carved out a small opening. Do they think of the flank?
The flank timing, nobody could shut this down, Devi! The awareness is there.
Surely too difficult of a situation for Smoggy, even with how well he's been playing.
There's no time.
There's 15 seconds.
This time pressure could just spell defeat. And for Smoggy to be the hero his team needs in this spot, Devi planting, medal is used first, lowering them down, and spraying them down! Smoggy destroys the hopes and dreams of PRX, knocks them out of groups, revenge has been earned, and a playoff picture potential there. EDG, the chances for them to go on a run now, to reach greater heights than they have in the past, have never been more present.
Well, after map one, it did not look like we were going to be seeing EDG making their way to playoffs. The second Chinese team to get out of groups behind explosive Trace, who surprised us all. But it is bitter disappointment there for PRX. A team used to fighting for trophies, who've been in those spots before in grand finals appearances, overtaken this year domestically by Gen G, and now grouped for the second time at Champions in their history. A rough year sliding downwards for them. It's a long off season to think over what could have been, but it's hugs on stage. They respect EDG, and how could you not? This team rallied back and put on a show. And Smoggy's individual performance was outstanding.
That was elite. 21-6 is where he's ended it all.
Very fitting way for it to end.
Yeah, it really is. Despite EDG being the last to qualify here for our playoffs, they are right on time for it. And as I said earlier, the world is essentially their oyster. You get that fresh reset as you head into the playoffs as well. And for them, a chance as well to do a little bit better than the disappointment at Shanghai.
And not just Shanghai, this is only their second win this year at a global event. Had they gone home, it would have been devastating their year as a whole. Not making it out of basically any situation. They got gifted that playoffs berth previously. Didn't necessarily earn it by beating international competition, but here today they have. They've turned a new leaf and are looking to try to bring that momentum further into playoffs. It's going to be a tough road ahead, but I have been impressed with this squad.
Yeah, the improvements I think that they've made, match in, match out, they've shown that resilience. I think even in just this series alone, they've shown that they can make those comebacks happen. Mental fortitude, however you want to describe it, but also just, I think, the strategy. There's a level that I saw from them in their match against G2 earlier, where they can anti-strat, they can play against the team's strengths. This is a squad that has that potential to go further, and And now they've earned their chance to just do that entirely here. We're going to be sending it down to the stage in just a moment for that Verizon post-match interview. Not too sure who's down there as well, but not just that, yeah, Chichu. And also the setup as well for the draw show. We're going to be finding out exactly how our playoffs are going to be set up.
Welcome down to the stage, everyone. I have EDG's Chichu here with me and Luna to help with the translation, of course, for our post-match interview. EDG의 치추 선수 만나보겠습니다. 승리 축하드립니다. 너무나도 익숙한 페이퍼렉스를 상대로 승리를 거두면서 플레이오프에 진출하게 됐는데요. 오늘 경기 소감부터 들어보도록 하겠습니다. Congratulations, Chichu. You faced them again. You took them down. You guys are in the playoffs. So what was it like going up against PRX when the stakes were so high? And especially because you guys were really familiar with each other.
那恭喜你们，现在是进入到了淘汰赛嘛，而且你们再一次面对到 PRX 也是赢下了他们。那在如此紧张的一个赛程之下，遇到这么熟悉的对手，现在赢下来，感受是怎么样的呢？今天比赛？
说实话，第一场输的时候，我想到了不好的事情，但是怎么说呢，就调整，然后准备二三场图嘛，因为我们跟他交手很多次，我们也对他比较熟悉。因为我们第一场图就是失误太多了，然后后面我们做得很好，我觉得赢得很爽，然后。 怎么说呢？也是我们调整成功了吧。
We lost the first map. I was thinking something bad, but we do the adjustment quickly on map 2 and map 3, and we face against PRX so many times. We are so familiar to each other, and we made a lot of mistakes on map 1, and we'd be able to like fix it on the map 2 and map 3.
사실 1세트 내주고 나서는 정말 안 좋은 기분이 점점 들면서 안 좋은 예감이 들기도 했는데 그래도 1세트 때 만들었던 실수들 그리고 있었던 문제점들을 2세트부터 잘 보완하면서 좋은 경기를 치를 수 있었고 그리고 페이퍼렉스를 하도 많이 만나보니까 또 많이 익숙했던 것들이 오늘 경기에 좀 도움이 됐던 것 같다고 얘기를 하는데요. 그리고 로터스에서 페이퍼렉스가 또 투타격대 조합으로 수비 쪽에서 먼저 시작을 했거든요. 좀 페이퍼렉스의 조합을 보고 EDG 선수들은 어떤 얘기를 나눴는지도 궁금합니다. So last map, Lotus, PRX ran the double duelist comp and they started on defense. What was your game plan heading into that map?
那其实，在刚刚的莲花古城上面，对手 PRX 他们是防守方先开，但是选了一个双决斗的阵容。那你们当时在进入到这张地图的时候，是当时想了怎么一个游戏计划呢？
说实话，赛前我没有想到他们这张图会换成这样。怎么说呢？就是我们面对不常见的阵容，打得会不好一点。但是我觉得遇到这种常规的阵容，反而会打得更轻松一点。
有想到是吗？
是的。
We have already predicted that they're gonna try this comps. Maybe sometimes we are not good at to face against those comps that not Euro to see, but with this kind of we can see a lot. This kind of comp we're really good at it.
Okay. So you were familiar. You knew they were gonna pick something like that.
所以其实还是挺熟悉的。你觉得你就知道他们会拿这种阵容是吗？
是 Yes.
사실 페이퍼렉스가 투타격대 조합을 쓸 거라고는 좀 예측 가능했던 부분이었기 때문에 뭔가 그동안 보지 못했던 아예 생소한 조합이었다면 조금 더 힘들었겠지만 그래도 이렇게 해서 좀 좋은 결과를 만들어낼 수 있었던 이유는 아무래도 좀 익숙한 조합이었고 어떻게 대처할지 알고 있었기 때문이라고 얘기를 하는데요. 마지막으로 조추첨이 진행될 예정인데 좀 피하고 싶은 팀이 있는지도 물어보도록 하겠습니다. We have the draw show ready coming up next. So is there a team that you would like to face or you would just prefer not to face? We have PRX, Team Heretics, and Trace Esports.
那现在正在看到，我已经在准备抽签了嘛？那下一场比赛有没有哪支队伍是很想遇到，又或者说不想要遇到的呢？我们现在有 Team Heretics， 有 DRX and Trace Esports TE。
我觉得我们不太想遇到 TE 吧，剩下的我觉得都可以。
We don't want to face against TE, and rest of them, all is okay.
Okay. 트레이스 e스포츠 빼고는 다 만나도 자신감이 넘친다고 얘기를 했습니다. 이렇게 해서 치추 선수 만나봤습니다. Thank you, Chichu, for the post-match interview. Good luck in the playoffs.
Thank you.
I'm gonna let you guys go. Bye-bye. And with that, that concludes our group stage matches. Now we have 8 teams locked in for playoffs, of course. And next up, we have the draw show ready right here on stage with our lovely Victoria. 네, 이렇게 해서 플레이오프에 진출할 8팀들이 모두 결정됐고요. 이어서는 플레이오프 대진 추첨식을 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 추첨식에는 빅토리아 님이 수고해 주시겠습니다.
Yeah, so I'm going to explain. There are two basic rules for this one. I'm going to explain them really quick. 1 seeds will only play 2 seeds, and then teams from the same group cannot be on the same side of the bracket. So they'll move forward or swap backward accordingly to make sure that doesn't happen. Other than that, that's all.
네, 먼저 추천칙의 규칙에 대해서 얘기를 해드릴 텐데요. 1번 시드 팀들은 2번 시드 팀들을 만나야 하고요. 그리고 같은 조에서 조별 스테이지를 치렀던 1번 시드와 2번 시드 팀들은 같은 브래킷에 위치할 수 없습니다. 그렇기 때문에 조가 겹치는 대진이 완성된다면 계속해서 한 칸씩 내려가거나 조가 겹치지 않는 대진이 완성될 때까지 계속해서 2번 시드를 움직이는 쪽으로 진행을 하려고 합니다.
Perfect. Let's get started. We'll draw our first seed.
네, 첫 번째 1번 시드 팀은요.
Here we go. All right, so that is going to be DRX.
DRX입니다.
It will go into that first slot. All right, next one.
다음 1번 시드 팀입니다. DRX와 같은 브라켓에 속할 팀은 누가 될지.
The Trace.
트레이스 e스포츠입니다.
All right, next one.
다음입니다. 반대편 브라켓에서 경기를 치를 팀.
G2.
G2입니다.
All right, and last but not least.
네, 이렇게 되면 마지막 남은 1번 시드는
We have Heretics.
팀 헤레틱스입니다.
Okay. So we'll draw the second pool of teams. We'll start top down and make sure there's no group matches on the bracket and move from there.
네, 이제 이번 시드 팀들을 배정할 예정인데요. 위에서부터 차례차례 채워나갈 예정인데 조가 겹친다면 반대편 브래킷으로 이동해야 된다는 점 유의해 주시길 바랄게요.
Okay. First one.
첫 번째,
We have
DRX를 상대할 팀은
Lev.
레비아탄.
They cannot be in this side since they are from Group C, so they will move to the first slot.
트레이스 e스포츠와 조가 겹치기 때문에 G2와 레비아탄이 경기를 치르게 됐습니다.
The next one, we have Sentinels.
센티넬입니다.
Sentinels is from Group B, so they are good to go here.
DRX와 센티널이 만나게 됐습니다.
And our next team,
다음 팀 뽑겠습니다.
we have Fnatic.
후나치.
So since they are from Group A, they will move all the way down to...
후나틱이 DRX와 같은 조였기 때문에 팀 헤리틱스를 만나게 되는데요. 이렇게 되면서 EMEA 대전이 완성됐습니다.
So, last one.
마지막. 트레이스 e스포츠와 EDG 중국 대전입니다. 네, 이렇게 해서 그룹 대진이 완성됐습니다. 아까 EDG의 치추 선수가 트레이스 e스포츠만은 피하고 싶다라고 얘기를 했는데 이렇게 해서 대진표가 완성이 됐고요. 이어서 아메리카스 대전 그리고 EMEA 대전 퍼시픽의 유일한 플레이오프 진출팀 DRX는 센티널을 만나게 됐는데요. 직접 뽑으신 빅토리아님 좀 대진에 만족하고 있는지 물어보도록 할게요. So Victoria, we had Chichu from EDG saying, oh, not Trace Esports. We also have the Battle of Americas, Battle of EMEA, Last Hope of Pacific DRX facing Sentinels once again. So, you know, are you satisfied with how the draw has turned out?
I think since they specifically didn't want them, they might be a little angry with me. But hey, the way to look at it is if the rematches are here in regions, then that means they're not knocking each other out. So you can look at it as a good thing that way. But I think it's a super exciting bracket. The regions are super strong, and it's really exciting.
먼저 이 중국 지역 쪽에서는 좀 피하고 싶다고 했는데 화낼 수도 있겠지만 이렇게 되면서 조금 더 골고루 많은 팀들이 더 높이 올라갈 수 있는 지역별 다양성이 좀 많이 추가가 되기 때문에 그래도 괜찮은 대진을 뽑은 것 같다고 얘기해 주셨습니다. 그러면 이대로 혹시 경기가 진행되는지도 물어보도록 할게요. So, you know, regarding the match schedule, is this how it's gonna go?
It is not. Match schedule will be released within the next 24 hours. So we'll solidify the actual order that's being played.
Okay. 12시간 이후에 여기 보시는 대진이 일정이 아니기 때문에 자세한 일정, 매치 스케줄은 12시간 이후에 발표할 예정이니까요. 여러분들의 많은 관심 부탁드리도록 하겠습니다. And we return on the 14th, right?
Yeah, on the 14th. We'll see you back then.
저희는 며칠 쉬었다가 14일에 돌아오도록 하겠습니다.
Well, folks, welcome to the darkest timeline. That's where we are right now. All the regional matchups. Okay, so full transparency. We were talking over here, and I think I'm a gosh darn genius because I had called the Sentinels, and I was like, watch it be Sentinels. It was Sentinels. And then we were like, it's probably going to be regional matchups.
It's
It
always
turned out to be
regional
regional
matches. It's
matchups.
crazy that it's the most regional matches it possibly could be.
It's all the regional matches. Everything. Unbelievable. Outside of DRX.
DRX
Sentinels.
Sen should be a banger, though. The last hope of Korea versus Sen, who is so back. They defeated Gen.G to get here. That should be a sick one.
Honestly, all of these are going to be pretty good matches, to be honest, because, I mean, they play each other so often that I mean, they know each other inside out. I think Sentinels DRX is like probably it's going to be the most different by far. So that's going to be very interesting because it's a different region. But, I mean, the copium is that they don't knock each other out. You know?
Yeah.
It's
if
good
they face each other here, then they can't face each other in the lowers.
EDG Trace is interesting to me because Trace has never really beaten FPX, nor have they beaten EDG regionally. They've always been down in those lower seed positions, but they have played excellent Valorant thus far here at Champion. So it does feel like real potential for an upset there with EDG's
My one worry is that it's been a minute since we've seen Trace on that stage. So it's going to be, like, it's been a while.
Sure.
You're going to walk up on the stage, and you're going to play a regional rival who has had your number on a few occasions.
Surely their confidence is out of this world after those first few.
I hope so.
So what you're saying is EDG knocks Trace into the lowers, and Trace knocks every other team out of the event.
Yeah, and then it's an EDG Trace finals, and Trace gets blown out 3-0.
True. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, my
the
word.
script.
That is absolutely...
That's a heinous script.
I'm telling you, the darkest timeline. It's the darkest timeline. No, but honestly, matches throughout the entirety of group stage were phenomenal, and we do have our pick'ems powered by AWS. You can see what you all voted, what you were all saying was going to happen here, and even though the results did not pan out perfectly, for example, Gen.G getting eliminated in the group stage, you know, overall, I mean, what a wild run this has been.
The amount of upsets as champions is insane.
Yeah.
Trace to #1 seed.
My A and B pick'ems went great. My C and D ones, though, on the other hand, not doing too hot. I'll tell you that much.
Oh man,
People were so close with the Group D one. A little too much PRX cope there. EDG impressing. And now DRX with Gen.G gone and Talon gone, the last hope of Pacific, the last Korean team in this tournament, heading into playoffs. It's a lot of pressure on those guys.
It really is, you know, and heck, I mean, even for EDG, right, they're coming into this one having to go up against their regional rival. Can they, you know, find that, what they found on this stage today, can they do so against Trace? You also got G2 and Lev. That's another battle that was literally our America's finals, so, you know.
And G2 couldn't get it done despite their excellent performance globally. They haven't been able to really best Lev this year. That's another good match.
And then you got Fnatic and Heretics, which you know all about that.
I'm trying to remember the last time they actually had a head-to-head because I'm pretty sure Vitality took out Heretics from this one. I don't know if Fnatic and Heretics faced each other in the uppers, though, this time around. But, you know, Fnatic won the last two splits, basically. So, and they did face off, I believe, split 1 playoffs against them and had the better of Heretics in the BO5 there.
Yeah. Oof. Man.
Off the top of my head, so I could be wrong.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? Overall, though, not bad. I believe you. You say it with enough confidence. That's how it works. You know what I'm saying, baby? All right. Well, of course, with that being said, we do have to say goodbye to our final 2 teams in the competition to be eliminated, Vitality and PRX.
In groups.
In groups, excuse me.
There's going to be 7 more eliminated in playoffs. But it is a tough road for these guys. Vitality showed up and I think had a lot of people hopeful. There was a lot of people talking about how good Safe could be on a global stage, how impressive this team was to make the finals of the EMEA, but unfortunately, not going to go any further.
It's unlucky. I mean, they had the good run, though. They made it all the way to champs. It's unfortunate that Safe lost that rematch versus Aspas. He was looking so confident in that. And honestly, they looked pretty strong until they didn't, obviously.
It fell apart at the end, Then, of course, you got PRX.
Yeah, I mean, these guys from the high last year of making it to the Americas final, thinking it would be their last year with Jing, to him getting to come back, play again this year, and not quite reach that same height, going out early in Champions instead is definitely a disappointment for those boys who have achieved a lot on the global stage before, and it really brings questions as to what PRX looks like into the future. Will W Gaming come back another season?
They went out in the most PRX way possible.
Yeah, double duelist solo Sky. Deathmatch.
Don't get me started with that one. The questions about everything in that, there needs to be a serious overhaul because, I mean, there's going to be serious people in shambles right now. Poolchan, for one of them, is going to be really upset about that. But honestly, they need a little bit more depth in that last map, that deathmatch. I mean, we were calling it before it happened. It looked scrappy, and they need to do better. They need to have more depth. And
listen, this is Champions, right?
Champions.
This is where the best come out to play, right? Everything's on the line. Your entire season leads to this right here, Mimi. This is it. We're on the horizon. Next set, we're moving on to the playoffs.
That's right. I mean, these teams have a chance to lift a trophy. We're going to be moving on towards the end of the playoffs to the big venue to close everything out at Inspire. It's going to be good.
Yeah, it is going to be fantastic. Now, that being said, folks, that's going to wrap it for us here today. We're going to be dark for the next 2 days, which, by the way, I'm kind of happy about that because your boys been working quite a bit. So we appreciate everyone for tuning in each and every day. You guys are freaking phenomenal. We hope you continue to tune in. You have no reason not to because you're going to see the best teams in the world clash and go head-to-head against one another for all of the glory. We'll see you then, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace out. Bye-bye. It's the ambitious underdog versus a team forged to win championships. Neither squad would thought that they would be in this position here and now, but there's one spot left in this group, and one of these two teams are going to grab it.
Safe getting pushed off the angle, and Mizzino's going to fill in right behind it. The dart is good.
Huh?
Aspot's getting 2 with the op. Tex pushing forward. Sender falls. That's going to be the pick going down as well as Com's got the defuse to half. Make that 3/4 of the way. He's going to stick it. It's going to come through. Leviathan takes the lead back. He intended to manipulate the rotations back towards A, but discipline from Vitality once more. Again, there are 10 seconds left in the round. Almost all of Vitality is here with the lighter weaponry. Nice. They still have a meal of Leviathan. As the walls go through, Trex gets 2, make that 3. Mizzino left alone. And it's not really, well, it's just barely planted for him, but I don't think he can get that angle in time. He's asked to get up close and personal. Kicks waiting on the other side. It's been half, but the Red Bull clutch for Leviathan. Leviathan weather things out. They close out eye spots, 14-12. Some jump spots already. Look at the dart, look at the paranoia. That's such a gorgeous setup. Jeez. Does he have the timing? No. Safe with 3. Com catching 1 on the way out. Spam's coming through. Com has to play this so carefully. It's only 1 found. Com's gonna have to get an ace to win the round! And he delivers for Lev! Out of his seat with waves across the stage.
He's popping off.
What a flash. 4 members. And the paranoia. They've got nowhere to go. Trex has to face out in front of it. Pushes the smoke, understanding that's where the hit's coming from. Mizzino with 3. It's gonna have to be a miracle from Safe to pull this off. But Mizzino gets his 4th. Leviathan get their 11th. A statement made from the #1 seed of Americas. 13-4 and a 2-0 sweep of Lev. Unbelievable performance. They're playoffs bound.
It's the final match of the group stage, and it can only end this way. 2 teams who have encountered each other time and time again. The question is, can EDG muster up the ability to defeat PRX here in their Pacific region? Is it doable?
It's going to be critical. Dash up and over onto the pipes. He's found it. Perfect accuracy, at least expecting it. Something, though, is right back at you. Divide catching him. The 140 cleanup from Forsaken. Chichu left to do it all, and it's too much. Jing has not revealed his position at all in the slightest, but potentially played right back in from all the sound cues. Noise made. Mindfreak ripping their hopes and dreams up, and tearing them apart and tearing them asunder. It's 12 for PRX, 13-3. It's domination. It's a sweep and a flawless finish for Icebox. Pack mentality here from PRX. Paranoia is perfect, though. EDG have really make sure to pick and choose this timing. And it's excellent. Shot down, nobody! Just wondering, he's a nomad at this point. There's no one to play off of this one, the jump spot. Oh, miscommunication again! It rears its head! And Mindfreak will rip them off! They can still make a play for this one. Smokes up.
No way.
No chance.
What a throw.
Mindfreak. He's got the spam and spray this one away. Defended. No way! Mindfreak!
Guys, please, guys. Guys, please.
And they want to try and shut this down immediately. Hunter's Fury, peek by Forsaken. There's the punish. 3 left to stand. Insane mechanics, but it matters not. Against the hand and steady aim of Kang.
13-8. What a resounding flip compared to last time we saw these two teams clash on Sunset.
The skirmish once more, but with Jing toppling, falling, something not able to evacuate. That was an updraft dash to survive, and Mindbreak is hard committed. Now he knows his timing taken against him, but the Prowler waiting it. No way, Peak not together. Still, it's there. The Forsaken liner right behind him for EDG to barrel them over. It's almost theirs for the taking. No force in sight from PRX. Not opting into this one. They need the guns, but it is just shambolic. Smoggy. For mechanics on display, and he will just rip them all away. Smoggy destroys the hopes and dreams of PRX, knocks them out of groups. Revenge has been earned, and a playoff picture potential there. EDG, the chances for them to go on a run now to reach greater heights than they have in the past have never been more present.
Let's go. Yes.